Hello YouTubers, this is me here once again, and today I thought I'd come out with a different video. This one pertains to the release of the new Pink Floyd record, which is slated to be due out in October. And the one thing that I keep hearing from people, and right now it's at the point where it's really starting to piss me off, is and especially since I read today, someone like Mike Portnoy, which him telling anybody to do anything is stupid. It's just stupid, like, to say this. But to say that if Pink Floyd does a new record, Roger Waters must be in it. Roger Waters must be in it. And here's the thing, I hate to break it to Floyd fans, and this is true Pink Floyd fans that really understand the history of Pink Floyd will admit this. Roger Waters has played one concert with Pink Floyd in 30 fucking years. Let's get that straight. One concert, 30 years, doesn't give him the right to say that he can be on the album. That's something that's really truthfully led up to David Gilmour. And that's all his thing. If he wants Waters on the album, then by God, let him be on the album. But if David Gilmour doesn't want him on the album, mostly due to the fact, and correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't it Roger Waters in the 80s that considered Pink Floyd defunct and then we'll never get Pink Floyd because Roger Waters doesn't want to do Pink Floyd anymore? So really, it was up to David Gilmour, who sued his ass, won, got rights to the name Pink Floyd, and began releasing Pink Floyd stuff. Sure, it was only 2 albums. I know, A Momentary Lapse of Reason. You can either like it or hate it. I personally liked A Momentary Lapse of Reason. I didn't think it was terrible. Everyone's like, oh, it's synth pop and all that. But it's like, for the Pink Floyd, it was something different. And I'm not going to shit. It was, at points, it was really good. Like, there's some good songs. I really like Learning to Fly, Dogs of War. Sorrow was a great song off that album. And all that. And then you get to The Division Bell, which was, in my opinion, an actually really phenomenal record to listen to, with songs like Maroon, Keep Talking, Why Won't You Talk to Me, Take It Back, there's another one on there I fucking loved. I can't remember the name of it. Cluster 1 I knew was on there. What's the name of that fucking song? It'll come back to me later. But such a great record. And then for people to say, so if Roger Waters was this, which I believe has become over years kind of overrated quite a lot, just because of nostalgia's sake, has really not done, other than his Pink Floyd stuff, he did Pros and Cons of Hitchhiking, Radio Chaos, Amused to Death, and pretty much that's it for his entire career. Maybe another album here or there, but for people to say if Roger Waters not on this, then it's not a Pink Floyd record, well, where have you been the last 30 fucking years? I know 20 of it was Pink Floyd didn't do anything, but to say if he's not on this, that's not a Pink Floyd record is bullshit. That's like hypocrisy to the fucking 10th degree. Like, he hasn't been in the band for 30 years. I think Floyd fans need to really take this back and look at it from a thing. From what they say, it's tapes from The Division Bell, which The Division Bell at the time, they did this once before with The Wall and the Final Cut. Final Cut was just tracks from The Wall that weren't good enough, and David Gilmour pretty much said they weren't good enough, didn't want his name anywhere near the album, even though I liked The Final Cut. I thought it was a pretty decent record. Is it one of Pink Floyd's greatest works? No. Is it one of their middle-of-the-road albums? Yeah, it's kind of one of their middle-of-the-road albums, but it wasn't bad. But I don't know. And it seems everyone now starts talking, if you don't like The Wall, then you're not a Pink Floyd fan. Well, I'm a huge Pink Floyd fan, and The Wall is not in my top 5 Pink Floyd albums of all time. I'll say that. I'll admit to it. I know people that love that album. I just personally find there's moments to it where, if you compare it to other albums, there's a lot of filler. And to say, oh, well, it was made for a movie or something like that, it's like, fuck that. Why the hell does The Wall seem to always get worshipped, and all these other albums they did that were so good get buried by The Wall? It's like, fuck that. But yeah, getting back on point. So if Roger Waters isn't in this, okay, yeah, David Gilmour, he can do what he wants. Like, really? David Gilmour is a great guitar player. He's carried that band, and I think a lot of it was he didn't want to carry the Pink Floyd brand for the last 20 years. And I think by doing this, like a spot release, the more I think about it, yeah, do I think it's more a David Gilmour album? Yes. Maybe a solo album? Yeah. But if it's a Pink Floyd, like with actual Rick Wright, maybe like him and Nick Mason are working on it. And that's another thing that really irks me about this, that it took David Gilmour to like pretty much sue Roger Waters to get rights to the name, to even get Rick Wright and Nick Mason back in the band. Like, if that doesn't talk about Roger Waters' ego and how highly he thinks of his work and all that, there was also stuff I read where David Gilmour said pretty much he wrote the bass parts for Pink Floyd. Which, if that is true, who knows? Like, I'm not saying it's true or not. I read it, but it's like anything you read on the internet. Take it with a grain of salt. I'm just not this guy that says, oh yeah, you must. It's like Lars Ulrich going up to fucking... Oh, how would I put this? This is like Lars Ulrich going up to Frank Zappa and telling him how to play guitar. Or going up to somebody and just telling them how to do something. This is like Justin Bieber going up to Eminem and telling him how to rap. It's just boggles me that these people get so stupid. I know you have your favorites, but to pretty much say that if Roger Waters isn't in this fucking album, then it's not good. It's not going to be good. It's like, well, there was some Roger Waters albums where he was in there that really weren't that good. And I think Floyd fans will at least admit it. Don't lie to yourself. There was some bad Pink Floyd records. They weren't all hum-hung and doo-ha and awesome. There's some questionable ones that I question their release, but I'm just at the point where people need to calm down with the whole Roger Waters in the band. This is really up, not to you. I don't think it matters how much you pressure Dave Gilmour. If he doesn't want Roger Waters in this project, Roger Waters will not be in this project. And newsflash, Pink Floyd was pretty successful in album sales without Roger Waters in the band too. And everyone's going to say, well, then if you bring up lyrics, then what about Syd Barrett? Because Syd Barrett is pretty much the lyrical early start to Pink Floyd. And really brought in a whole other style. But this is just something that's just been eating the fucking away at me, and I'm just getting sick and tired of reading this all the time, and people saying, oh, if Roger isn't in it. I'm like, fuck you. Grow up. And there's also people that it's like, I'll admit it, I missed Pink Floyd's entire career, music listening wise. I didn't get into them until the 2000s when I was in high school. And I listened to their music, and it absolutely blew me away. I was just blown away by Pink Floyd. For people to say that, then what about, oh, if Syd Barrett's not in the band, then it isn't a Pink Floyd record? Well, if that's the case, then their entire career is fucking down the tubes. I think it's an invalid argument by people trying to put pressure on a band, especially Mike Portnoy. You left Dream Theater and you've become so fucking irrelevant, nobody cares. And that's honestly my thoughts and opinions on that. Be sure, but this is me here once again, be sure to like, comment, favorite, subscribe. I thought I just had to get this off my chest. It's something that's just been eating away at me, like reading this all the fucking time. Like, come on, people. Grow up. If David Gilmour wants to make a David Gilmour decision, he's going to make a David Gilmour decision, and either eat shit and like the taste of it, or you can go really listen to the Roger Waters stuff and just be happy there. But anyway, this is my thoughts and opinions on it. Peace.